I always said I wasn't going to do any more, and that's true, because I'm not going to do any more. But that doesn't mean I'm unwilling to turn it over to Kathy to do more. Mm-hmm. I have story treatments of 7, 8, and 9, and a bunch of other movies, and obviously we have hundreds of books and comics and everything you could possibly imagine. So, you know, I sort of moved that treasure trove of stories and various things to Kathy, and you know, I have complete confidence that she's going to take them and make great movies. I'm doing this so that the films will have a longer life, and so that more fans and people can enjoy them into the future. It's a very big universe I've created, and there's a lot of stories that are sitting in there.
The main thing is to protect these characters, make sure that they still continue to live in the way that you created them, and that the universe of Star Wars continues to grow.
I just said that I would back her up, and I would be there if, you know, and especially helping with the script and making sure the script sort of, there's a lot of blank spots in the story treatment that hopefully we can fill in. And
I think the incredible thing about George is, you know, this is not like a series of books like Harry Potter where you've already got a template of what the stories might be. These are original stories and original ideas that come out of a world that essentially is in George's head. So the beauty of the collaboration that can continue is, as we work our way through these scripts, if we're sitting and saying, you know, I wonder if this character can do that, or does this make sense within the rules of Star Wars? That really, he's the keeper of the flame when it comes to that.
It's the same thing with the first 3 films. That's all my job is to be the keeper of the flame. Well, it's based on human behavior, human psychology, you know, mythology, which is the sort of archaeology of human behavior and thinking. And since it has those motifs, it is very universal, and everybody could relate.
About J.J. Abrams, Lucas will not get a say in any of the new Disney-owned movies. Ask him about handing over the reins of the franchise he created.
The issue was, ultimately, they looked at the stories and they said, we want to make something for the fans. So I said, all I wanted to do was tell a story of what happened. You know, it started here and it went there, and it's all about generations, and it's about, you know, the issues of fathers and sons and grandfathers, and it's a family soap opera. It's not about spaceships. So they decided they didn't want to use those stories. They decided they were going to go do their own thing, and so I decided, fine, but basically I'm not going to try to, they weren't that keen to have me involved anyway, but at the same time I said, I'm not going to, if I get in there, I'm just going to cause trouble, because they're not going to do what I want them to do. So, and I don't have the control to do that anymore, and all it would do is muck everything up. So I said, okay, I will go my way, and I'll let them go their way.
Kathleen Kennedy continues to prove people like me right. We were right all along. She is the worst leader imaginable. She's terrible. She doesn't know what she's doing. She's focused on identity politics. She doesn't care about Star Wars. She took everything that George Lucas created and she turned it into a social justice propaganda movement that ultimately has failed. Because when it was riding off of what George Lucas created, you got The Force Awakens. Over $2 billion, excitement from across the board, toy sales, everything was fine with The Force Awakens. But quickly what we learned is that The Force Awakens was a hollow attempt. It was fool's gold. And as soon as we got to The Last Jedi, it started to be pretty obvious that they had no plan whatsoever. I have talked about this over and over again on this channel. If you've been watching me for any amount of time, then you already know exactly all of the points I have made. This woman is a disaster. She has been a disaster. And now we have this quote from Kathleen Kennedy. Lucasfilm is stepping back to really absorb what George Lucas has created. What? You bought the company in 2012. The man himself handed you a sequel trilogy outline. You sat there right across from him and told him that you would honor everything he created. 8 years later, we are sitting here with a pile of shit because you are a terrible, terrible leader. You are clueless. You don't know what you're doing. I have been saying this for years. The reason I have a platform is because you're so stupid, Kathleen Kennedy. It's literally the only reason I have a platform. So if anything, I can thank you for your stupidity from that perspective, but you are terrible at what you do. You are easily the worst leader I have ever seen. Not only were you elevated to a position that you didn't earn, you were given the #1 IP in the history of the movie business, along with the budget from Disney, the marketing from Disney. You had the original trilogy fan base, you had the prequel fan base coming together, and you marketed to an entirely new fan base that Disney could get to you. But you started to pander to a bunch of weirdos that were obsessed with calling everyone an ist or an ism, and you bent the knee to them completely over and over again. You then hired Rian Johnson, blindly not worrying about anything he's doing because you had no plan for the sequel trilogy, the same sequel trilogy that you took George Lucas's outline and threw away with no plan of your own. And here we are, we get to the Rise of Skywalker. It was a complete shit show as well. You lose 50% of your audience. The company has no direction. There's no vision whatsoever. The only thing that's working is the Disney Plus side of things, where Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni are involved. But when it comes to the film side, you are trash. And then you ruined Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. They had a whole outline for that, and you went in and blew that up too, because you are a piece of garbage. You are nothing but an identity politics hire. You have failed upwards in Hollywood because why? Because of identity politics. You're the same person where it's quoted where you sat down, I believe it was at a taping of the Saturday Night Live, and the first thing you say to your husband is, "Where are the female camera operators?" Because that is how you think. That is the only thing that this woman thinks about. And now to the point where now John Boyega is done. John Boyega, he's done. He's so tired of these Raylos. Raylos are weird. He's so tired of the Raylos all up on him over creative choices made within the film. These are the same people that claim that we bullied Kelly Marie Tran off of social media, or Daisy Ridley, which is not true, by the way, and there's no evidence of that. Yet here you have the man himself, John Boyega, saying he's sick and tired of these weirdos. He's so tired of the Raylos. The Raylos are the people that Kathleen Kennedy pandered to. This woman is the biggest failure I have ever seen in the entertainment industry, and that says a lot because there's a lot of failures in the entertainment industry, but Kathleen Kennedy is easily the worst because she was handed gold. Handed gold. She never worked to get to that point, yet here she is. She's nothing but a glorified secretary. She ends up in this position because of identity politics and respecting women, because Disney has the virtue signal. She gets this position. She's handed the keys to the kingdom by the man himself. She sits there and lies to his face, elevates off of the momentum from The Force Awakens, and then crashes and burns after that. This woman is garbage, and that's probably disrespectful to garbage. So I apologize to all of the garbage out there that has actually earned the right to become garbage. Kathleen Kennedy doesn't even get that much respect from me. This woman is terrible. Imagine 8 years later, 8 years after the purchase of Lucasfilm, 8 years, and you have completely driven this thing into the ground with identity politics, and now here we are 8 years later, and you say, yeah, we need to absorb what George created. What? What? Unbelievable. Unbelievable. But I was right, as I usually am. You, all of you weirdos, all of you soy boys, go ahead, drink your latte, cry your tears, put on your ankle choker jeans, put on your glasses with no lenses because it's trendy to do that. Go ahead and cry more tears because I was always right. You were never a Star Wars fan. You never cared about this. You only cared about the social aspect of it. That is it. So we will continue to see Star Wars be driven into the ground by this woman. I have no faith in Lucasfilm or Disney as long as Kathleen Kennedy is connected to Star Wars in any way, shape, or form. And again, this is Kathleen Kennedy, the same person that gave Rian Johnson a trilogy, not a movie. We're talking about a trilogy. She also gave Benioff and Weiss a trilogy, not a movie. Not a movie. We're talking about a trilogy. And then And then they publicly quit. Not a movie. We're talking about a trilogy. Who quits a trilogy? First of all, who gives trilogies out like this? And then who fires people from trilogies? Or who quits? Like, you handed Rian Johnson a trilogy, and it's nowhere to be found. You handed Benioff and Weiss a trilogy. It's nowhere to be found. Solo lost money. Nobody buys Star Wars toys anymore. Galaxy's Edge is a ghost town. And here we are with Kathleen Kennedy 8 years later. I guess we're going to absorb what George created. Well, good job, Kathleen Kennedy. 8 years later, good job on figuring out what Star Wars is all about. Unbelievable. You guys have a great day. Check out geeksandgamers.com, our website, also my personal channel, D-Day Cobra, DDAYCOBRA. If you want more political commentary over there, and I'll probably do some entertainment stuff as well. We also have Park Hoppin', our theme park channel, Gaming with Geeks, our gaming channel, Sports Wars, our sports channel, and Geeks and Gamers over on Twitch. We have a lot going on. I'll see you guys in the forums on geeksandgamers.com. Solo lost money. Raylos are weird. Kathleen Kennedy is a failure. And you guys have a great day, and we will talk to you later.